welcome everybody. My name is Cinthia and I will be co-hosting this episode for BX Home Solutions with Bex here.
Hello everybody.
So the reason we're doing this episode is because we've been getting asked how we got started with BX Home Solutions, and we figured the easiest way and fastest and most efficient way to tell our story would be through like a Q&A podcast. So here we are.
Yes, let's go. And I know it was your idea to do it, so I'm super excited to just let everybody know who we are.
Yes, me too.
Should we get it started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Go for it.
All right. So do you remember how BX Home Solutions started and what inspired the name from your perspective?
All right, I'm going to start with the second part. So what inspired the name? My name. It was my name, but I didn't want it to be, Bex, Bex Home Solutions, because I wasn't going to be the one out there being handy. So I was like, let's take out the E. And I think you agreed to it. Did you agree to it?
I did. If my memory serves me well, that was 3 years ago, so.
I know. So that's how the name, and, Home Solutions, because we wanted to flip homes. Mm-hmm. So solving the rehabbing issue of the house. So that's what the solution part is. And then how we got started was, I think we just wanted to get out of the 9 to 5.
Yes.
Right. So we had watched flipping shows, and they looked good. They looked like something we could do.
Yeah, super fun.
Yes, we didn't know how we were going to do it, but that's how we decided. I think so, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about like your real estate journey and how like that kind of merged into flipping.
I think that it was when I started wholesaling, right? So that was the first stepping stone into real estate. And I remember when I talked to you about it, I think that you were very supportive.
Yeah.
So I know it was very, very new to both of us.
It was, yeah, because we didn't really know much about it. We were like, I was like, what is wholesaling? What is this?
Right. It's like, isn't it Costco? Costco's a wholesaler.
Yeah.
So wholesaling was a stepping stone. And then I don't think I was comfortable doing it, right? So I decided to get my real estate license, and then at the same time we went into flipping business.
Yeah.
Flipping houses.
Yeah.
Together at the same time, and just kind of figured it out.
Yeah, which was your idea, by the way. Like you were like the driving force, and I was like, okay, I'll join you.
Yes,
see what comes out of it. I'll add my little creativity and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, something that doesn't keep me working 40 hours. So
yeah.
If you can't tell by now, I don't like working. Anyway.
Okay, so let's talk about our first flip. And what do you remember about what went right, what went wrong, what lessons we learned from that?
So I remember that the lady said no to us like 8 times, right?
Yeah.
So it was on the market for a while.
Yeah.
It's a Valley Junction. Had been on the market for a while. It's 2022. And we went in with our realtor at the time, right? And we decided to offer, I think it was like $35K below asking. And so obviously she said no, right? No counter.
No, she just rejected it. She was like, no, thank you.
I know. So we countered ourselves.
Yeah.
So we countered ourselves, and we're like, fine, okay, you get 110. And still was a no, right? So we walked away from it. And then I remember we were at La Michoacana grocery store, right? In Valley Junction. We were there, and I remember I was like, hey, the house is still on the market. I think we should try again. And we tried again, and she was finally going back and forth with us.
She was ready to negotiate finally.
Yeah, because it had been like 2 months since she had listed.
Yeah.
So we went back and forth, and we finally came into, we agreed on a price. And so that's what I remember at the beginning. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I know. I remember we had a lot of imposter syndrome at the beginning.
Yeah, you know what else I remember?
What?
I fell through the deck.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Remember I was standing and then the deck like came completely off from the house?
Yep.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So that was a fun time.
Yes.
But yeah, going back to imposter syndrome, I think that when you first start something out, it's like you don't even believe it fully yourself until you're actually doing it. And for me personally, like I have to do it like multiple times to be like, okay, like this is what I'm doing, right? And to fully believe it and embody it. So at the beginning, I was just like, yeah, I guess we're flippers and investors. Okay, we're doing this. So
it was like having an out of body experience.
Yeah,
because I was like, we were there, but we weren't really there. And then not knowing anything about the house.
No, not knowing anything about flipping either. Like the only thing that we knew was just like what we did a little bit of research upon, but like actually going through it and dealing with the contractors, like ordering all this stuff, that was challenging.
Yeah, and I think what helped that a lot was that my uncle Javier was there, and he was guiding us through the process. And so he's a contractor. He remodels homes for a living, right?
Yeah.
So he helped us a lot. He taught us a lot. And I remember like certain things that we wanted to do. He was like, "You want to do what?" You know what I mean? And so he made a lot of those things come to life, which was really cool. And it's so cool when a contractor works with you and your vision and doesn't question your vision. Yeah.
Shout out to all the contractors that we work with that have been really flexible with us and have taught us so much. We're super grateful for you.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So that's what I remember about the first flip, not knowing a lot, but then we also didn't take long. We flipped it in 3 months.
Yeah.
And so that one sold within weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So it was in the heart of Valley Junction, and we still drive by it. You know,
Yeah,
we drive by
do.
it sometimes, and we look at it, and we're still proud of the work that we did.
Yeah.
And those that helped us, you know, get there.
I think one of my favorite thing about flipping homes is that after like people buy it, they keep the same features that we added. It's like, my heart.
Yes, I agree.
Like they loved it as much as we did, you know?
Yes, so. I agree. I'm like, let me know when you want me to ask the questions.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do the next one. All right, so why do you think we decided to go into business together? There's 2 parts of that, so answer that one first.
Okay. I think we decided to go into business together because I think we were just at a stage in our lives where we were ready to do that.
Yeah.
Energetically.
I agree. I think that you have to trust the person that you go into business with.
1,000%.
And you have to, and at the time, like you were with me, but you didn't see the full picture.
Yeah.
So I think that you just made it your vision as well. And so that helped a lot because I knew that you believed in my vision, which was, you know, not ordinary at all.
Yeah.
You know,
extraordinary. One would say.
Yes.
I think we worked together in the past before, but it's never felt like this. It's never felt cohesive.
Right.
And I think it's because at this point, like we know more who we are and we're able to highlight each other's strengths better.
I agree. And not a lot of people can work with their partner.
No, we hear some horror stories.
And we don't have one yet. I mean, we disagree on a few things, but not on a lot of things.
No, I think we always come to terms and we come from a place of understanding.
Yes. The only terms we haven't come to is the fact that you don't want to keep the same colors on all the houses.
I don't. Absolutely not. No.
Or the same layout. Like,
no.
Same trim, same wall color. You know what I mean? Like, here and there you can add a little pop-up.
No.
Yeah.
You want me to do like a white trim every house. And I think every house has its own personality. And it tells its own story.
I mean, we might as well start naming them.
We should. But that's how I see it. And I think that's the way that I'm able to express my art.
Yeah.
And that's something that I hold really dear to my heart.
Yeah, and I think it helps a lot that you're that way, because if it was just me, I would tell the contractor, just do whatever you think is best. Save me money.
Yes.
And let me profit.
Yes.
So I appreciate that a lot, that you are able to bring to light the house, to live all the creativity that you have in the houses, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So second part of that question was, what did that feel like for you at the time, going into business together?
It was a big leap.
Yeah.
I had to, I think in relationships, it's really important to know when to follow and when to lead. And I had to learn to fully trust your vision and learn to follow.
Yeah. I don't think I could do that.
No?
I like to be in control.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
In a healthy way. In business. Me trying to make
Let
up
it
for
be
it.
known.
Let it be known. But I think you're right. And I presented you the vision, you know, and I think that it was a huge leap of faith. But we thought of what the worst case scenario was, and it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because at the time, you had left your 9 to 5, right? And I also had left my 9 to 5.
You left it a year later.
I did.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was hard for
That
you,
was
right?
hard. Yeah. Oh, man. It was hard because I realized as I was going through the process of, like, you know, I was tying my identity to a job.
Yeah.
Like my self-worth to like a specific job. Because like when you're an entrepreneur, like you have more time, like, you know, it's just different. I don't know how to explain it. How would you explain it?
I think it's, like you said, it is a leap of faith. It's definitely, obviously, like completely different than having a job because you're not tied to your schedule. You know, you're not tied to a paycheck.
Yes.
And that's what people fear. They fear the fact that they're not going to be getting paid consistently.
Yes.
Right? And so when I always say this, like fear paralyzes people.
So true.
You know, and also like you have to have faith.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge driving force for us is having faith. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. 1,000.
I think maybe you can agree to this, but we always say like God always has our back. Like,
oh yeah. God
He
always provides,
right?
Yep.
And so I think that's what people need to do is just have a little bit more faith and know that they're gonna be able to do it.
I agree. Yeah. So going back to that 9 to 5, it was like ripping that security blanket
Definitely.
off and just, you know, riding that wave. So
Yeah. I remember what it felt like was I was a little scared because we were not used to spending all the time together, right? Like we had our jobs, and it's like our dynamic was gonna evolve, and I didn't know in what way.
Yeah.
And so I think we've been able to manage it. I remember at the beginning I was like, you know, and this is very unfiltered. Like I remember telling him like, I'm a little annoyed by you.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, what the hell?
And you were so upset that I was like, I'm a little annoyed by you.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a change, you know, and I think a lot of people felt that in 2020 when and we've heard it from other friends that they're like, I'm not used to spending this much time with my person.
Yeah.
Like we don't know how to act.
I think it's because you fall into a routine, right? And you're like used to doing that on your own. And then all of a sudden, like you have a person tagging along and it's like, hey, what's up? I'm here.
I agree.
So yeah, I think but it was fun. I love our dynamic now because we get to do things that we didn't before. Like we get to connect in deeper ways. Like just an example, and this is going to sound like really like funny, but we get to go on our doctor's appointments together, and I love that so much.
I agree with you. I love going to the doctor with you.
Me too. It's fun. I know. All right, what else do we have? How would you describe the role you naturally take on during a flip? And part 2, how would you describe mine?
So naturally I am more towards like the numbers aspects of things and like the contract, right? Which makes sense because I'm a realtor, so that's my jam. And then you're more of like the design, right? The colors, the kind of floor. We decide sometimes together. I think sometimes I want to step on your toes. Just because I get excited about it. Anyways.
I love how you push me though, like when we have like a certain budget and I'm like, oh, we're gonna go over the budget a little bit. You're like, we can do better. Come on, let's look. I'm like, dang it.
I remember. So I remember that one of our contractors was like, those windows are not
In stock.
in stock. I'm like, yes, they are. He's like, no, like I literally just ordered them. Like, we're gonna find them somewhere.
Yeah, he was
and
like, they're like
them
3-4 weeks out, and we found them the next day.
Yeah, we're like, nope, we're gonna get them from different places, but we're gonna get the window.
We ran all around town, I remember.
Yeah, I agree. So naturally, right, you're more into the creativity part of it, and ordering everything.
Yeah, ordering everything, doing like the stuff behind the scenes. Like I also have a transaction coordinator business, and I do like the stuff for your real estate behind the scenes as well. Marketing, social media, I manage all that stuff.
Yeah, and I manage relationships. So
yes,
I think that's where I get my energy.
The most important. Yeah, because I thrive off of the stuff that I do, and so do you. So
I agree. I'm like, you don't need to give me coffee. Just give me in a room with people. And
and I'm the opposite. Excited. I'm like, after a few people, getting together, I'm like, I need to go home and recharge. So
yeah, I agree. But it works perfect. So
it does. I love the way it is right now.
Yeah. So what's our secret sauce when it comes to making decisions as both a couple and a business partners?
Our secret sauce.
I think it's compromise, right? Like knowing the type of person that we are, our personalities, right? So that numbers are super important to me. And obviously because we need to profit, it's a business, right? So that I'm gonna push you to find the better deal, right? And so that's compromising. And same in our personal relationship, like knowing who we are, what we like, what we don't like, and respecting those boundaries, right? So
yeah, man, our secret sauce.
You like it salsa. Salsa verde.
Salsa verde. I have to think about that. I think our secret sauce would be just listening and wanting to understand each other. Coming from a place of understanding, I think, is the most important.
I like that.
Yeah, that's all I have right now. I'm going blank on that one.
I'll ask you later.
Okay.
Okay, so be honest. Have we ever had a design or investment disagreement that really challenged us? And how did we work it out?
Yes, we had a property that, in my perspective, it was an impulse buy.
I know which one it is.
Yes, Washington. That one. That's right.
Washington. Okay, yes. But in my defense, we were going to keep it as a rental.
We were, and then we had to pivot and flip it because the numbers weren't working.
The math wasn't mathing.
No, it was not.
Yeah, I remember. I think for me, the most recent one was our commercial building. That you couldn't see the vision. I still think that you have a little bit of...
I'm a little hesitant, yeah. But I think the more you... So I love that you're a visionary because I'm not. And I love seeing the way you invest and the way you think about, homes and all the, investments that we make together. I love seeing your perspective because I can't see that full big picture long term like you do. So
I think that obviously with investing there's the short term, right, and the long term. So our short term would be our flips, right? So we need capital, we need to keep making money, right? That's short term. Long term, I think that it was my favorite investment because I know that in 10 years when we cash out, if we cash out in 10 years, it's gonna be a really, really, really good paycheck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we think of the present and we get scared. We're like, okay, oh my gosh, I'm pouring all this money, right? But then think of the future, your future self getting a paycheck from that property. And it's exciting. Yeah. I get excited. Yeah. I know that it's a lot of out of pocket, right, at the beginning, but it's also super exciting to know that in 10 years we may be able to cash out and, I don't know, go and buy like a vineyard in like Italy or something like that. Flip a vineyard or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know
what
I mean?
Now you're talking my language.
Okay, so
that's how you convinced me to do the big ones.
I should have done this like a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did we overcome that challenge? I think that you're not opposed to investing, right?
I'm not, but I feel like it comes more natural to you, and you have to convince me.
Yes, I do.
Like, I'm your toughest critic when it comes to that. I'm like thinking of all the pros and cons, like mapping it out in my head.
Yeah, but I think we always come, like, I'm always able to convince you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to toot my horn, but
No,
I
you
feel
do.
like I'm always able to convince you.
You have a very strong convincing power.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Out of all the homes we flipped, which one has been your favorite and why?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like they all hold a little piece of my heart. But I don't know. I mean, 22nd was really fun.
22nd was
so
beautiful.
22nd was, first of all, it was spacious. You know, the sunroom, the great room, the way that it was, the layout, the kitchen, right? So I feel like we had a lot of challenges with that one.
The most
Challenges, but we also were very satisfied. And we even talked about this, like, at the end when we had finished the project, right?
Mm-hmm.
We immediately put it on the market, and then we were like, dang, we weren't able to, like,
enjoy it
after.
because it sold like that.
I feel like the only day that I enjoyed it fully was when we did the Agents Open, and
Yes.
we had the walking taco
Yes.
bar, and we were just there hanging out for a while.
Yeah, we got to enjoy the island, which was huge. It was beautiful.
What about you?
Yeah. I think 22nd as well. It was just so spacious, and it had everything. It had like a little fenced backyard. Like, I feel like all the flips that we do, we really envision ourselves living there at the end for some reason.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Most of them.
Most of them. We're like, oh my gosh, do we really want to sell it? Do we want to let it go?
Every time.
Yeah.
We're like, should we sell our house and then come and live here? Every time.
Yep. That's how much we pour ourselves into it, though.
That is so true. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's something that people totally get wrong about house flipping that you wish they knew?
I think that people think it's easier than it is, which it's not, like, life altering, but it can be very stressful, right? So let's go back to this fall. We had 2 flips going on at the same time.
We sure did.
And so we're at one in Adele, right? And that's 35 minutes from home.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had one in Perry, which is 40 minutes from home and 30 minutes from here. So it was stressful. And
we put a lot of miles on our car.
Yeah, we did. We even had to get new tires.
Yeah, we did. We wore them out.
But I think it's a little bit more stressful than people think it is. There's a lot more to it. It's not just like, oh, choosing a color, choosing this. You like run into problems. Like, you remember Perry? So that Perry had, okay, let's talk about Perry.
Okay.
Perry's garage door was 16 feet wide when we got there.
Yes.
And then the 16-foot wide door was out of stock for weeks.
And we were like finalizing the house. Like, we had like a week left.
Because we think that everything's in stock, right? Because we like to manifest that.
We do. We're like, yep.
But so it was 16. And then they were like, okay, we have a 12.
And
reduce the door. So we reframed it to 12.
Right.
And then they didn't have it
in stock. Like, they said they had it in stock, the 12 one.
The 12-foot one.
And then whenever we were like, okay, we got a frame, come back out, they're like, oh, actually, it's 3 weeks out. I was like,
so
okay.
Then we got it reframed.
It ended up being a 9-foot.
Yes, but
door.
That's not the problem. You remember when we got it reframed to 9, and then one of our contractors went out there because somebody else had reframed it, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, the header's rotted. And we're like, okay, fine, change it. We don't know, right? We know to an extent what things are.
But we trust our contractors because they're the experts.
Right. And so he gets there and he's like, hey, the header's rotted. Should we replace it? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And then we get there and the whole face of the garage is gone.
Just bare. We're like, wow.
We're like, what is going on? So it gets reframed completely. The whole face with siding, right? With fascia, everything. And it ends up being a 9-foot garage door that doesn't even have it's not even remote.
No.
It's a manual one.
Because of the clearance above.
Yeah, so it's not as easy as it sounds to flip. There's a lot of challenges. Again, they're not life-altering.
Yeah.
They do take away my sleep sometimes, right? Because we have a timeline. But there's a lot more to flipping than just choosing colors and floor.
No, there is. There's a lot of like just random things that you would never think of that come up that you have to kind of think quick on your feet and just problem solve as best as you can.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to come up with innovative solutions.
Creative, for sure.
Creative solutions.
Yes.
Okay, I got the next question.
Okay.
So when we're out hunting for properties, what's usually catching your eye versus mine?
I'll answer that in a second, but I would just like to point out that when we're hunting out for properties, for every person that wants to start flipping or is flipping already, we have to look at like 30 to 40 properties until we find the one. So
yeah, and
just a tip there.
Another thing is there's a lot of investors out there right now.
There is.
So flips are flying off the market.
They
like
are.
If you don't have cash, you're not gonna win the deal.
No.
Most likely.
Yeah.
There's still some flips that I've helped my clients get through hard money lenders and we're able to win them. But right now during the spring market, you gotta have cash.
Yeah, I agree. So the question was, when we're out hunting for properties, what's usually catching your eye versus mine? What's usually catching my eye is the layout.
I think that we learned that very early on in our career because it's a huge deciding factor.
It is. I
would say it's even more important than location.
1,000%.
Right?
Yeah, it is. Like if the layout is just, it doesn't fit, if people can't see themselves in that space, if you can't knock down a wall to like open up the space a little more, then it's just, we move on.
Yeah, so let's go back to one of your not so favorite flips, Washington. So Washington, we had to tear down a wall because the bathroom was in a bedroom.
The only bathroom
was in the bedroom.
Yes.
And so we had to knock that wall down. But then now the bathroom was in the dining room.
Correct.
And like nobody wants a bathroom. No, it's like, hey, let me use the bathroom while you're eating. You know what I mean? So
that's what we're talking about, layout. Like it really matters.
That took a while to sell. It took almost 6 months to sell.
Yeah,
it did sell. Like there's people for everything, but the layout is the most important.
That's what we look at first.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that we look at is the foundation of the house.
Absolutely, because it's one of the most expensive.
It is.
Items to fix.
Yep.
Yeah, and the sewer.
Yes.
So foundation, sewer, and then everything else can be fixed.
Yeah. Those are like the least expensive things, so.
The most expensive things.
Or the most expensive things, sorry.
And sewer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we've had to cut on our profit on one of our flips, the West Des Moines Meadow Lane.
Yes.
We had to cut on our flip there on our profit because the walls had paneling, right? And so we didn't know what was behind the paneling, and then we started seeing that it was already there was already foundation issues, right? So we decided to add the braces, the wall supports, because it's the most important part of a house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I would like to touch base on the wall braces, because I feel like a lot of people are like, when they go in and look at a house and they have wall braces, they get scared.
yeah, they
can you
do.
touch a little more about that, since you see them more?
Yeah, for sure. So I always tell people we're in Iowa, right? In Iowa, we have basements. In Iowa, we have moisture, we have water. First of all, the most important thing to do is to have landscape around your house, right? You want to drive the water away from the foundation. Once that's taken care of, your wall should be fine. But most people don't know that, right? So they think that foundation problems are from the inside of the house, when actually it's from the outside. Like your gutters, they need to be driving away the water. You need to have some kind of slope, right? Like dirt and mulch driving away the water. And so it's very, very common here to see wall braces. And I always tell people, like, hey, if most people don't take care of their foundation because they don't know how to, right? And so a lot of the houses that we have here in Iowa already have those wall braces, right? And I tell them the problem has already been
Fixed for you.
Yeah. And so yes, it doesn't look appealing, but your walls are not going to be moving anymore. Just keep the water away from the foundation, right? So to everybody out there, foundation issues are very common. Wall braces are the solution. And so if it already has the braces, like you're set. And a lot of these companies that do the braces give you a 20-year warranty. They warranty that the walls will not keep moving.
Correct.
Right? And so for somebody to give you that kind of warranty, I mean, their job has to be very, very good.
And that's such a peace of mind too.
It is. Because in 20 years, a lot can happen. But again, the responsibility of keeping the water away from the foundation is very important, even after the braces have been installed.
I agree. 1000%.
So I always tell my clients, like, hey, it's very common. Don't be scared. The only time we should be scared if there's no braces, because that's it can be pretty expensive depending on the type of foundation, right? Yeah, but thanks for touching on that.
Yeah, of course.
I got really serious.
I know, you're like, oh my gosh.
It's so
it
serious.
Comes up a lot, and I think it steers people away from buying a house. And I feel like with our experience, like that's not that big of a deal. Like that is a problem that you can fix.
Exactly. Unless it's like completely caved in.
Right. Then or bowing in, or you know, then there's no going back there. But if it has a few cracks, then you can easily fix that.
1000%. I agree.
All right, on to the next. What kind of impact do you hope we're making with BX Home Solutions in the neighborhoods we work in?
I think that and this is where my mind goes, like a lot of flippers get bad rep because people think that flippers just paint and keep going.
Yeah.
But I think that early on, and you decided, right? It was something that you brought up. You're like, I don't want to be that type of flipper. I want to make sure that we address problems because these are people's homes.
Yeah.
Like if I wouldn't want it behind my walls or in my house, I don't want anybody else to have it.
Yeah.
And so I think that the impact is that we will always try to do our best with our flips, right? And even if it means cutting into our profit, because at the end of the day, someone's lives, right? Like their life is more important than our profit.
I agree.
So I want to, and I think you agree with this, like we want to turn a flip into a home where people can just go in and it's turnkey, it's ready to be lived on.
Yeah.
And you know, there's times where we've missed a few things, right? Like I think there was a time when the electrical needed some
more assistance.
It needed more assistance, and so we didn't know that, right? Because we trusted our contractors, and so that problem was not brought to us, right?
Until the last minute.
But we made it right.
We did, them. Yeah.
So I think it's just always giving people a good home.
I agree. It's really important to me that we remodel these houses with integrity.
Yes.
Because my wish, obviously, I don't know if that's going to happen, but my wish is for people that buy or flips to make it their forever homes.
Yeah.
So that's the intention behind the design and everything that we pour into it. So
yeah, and I think since it's our passion, right? And I feel like it's also, it ties into our purpose in this lifetime. I think that we have a huge responsibility of giving people a good home. And obviously we tell them like, hey, this house, for example, is from 1961. It's not perfect.
Right.
But we did the most that we could with what we have. And if we see something that's rotted, right? Even though they can't see it, we see it and we take care of it.
Yeah. I agree.
I think we'll make a good impact.
I hope so. Let's see. How do you stay connected to our bigger vision even when we're knee deep in drywall dust?
Or in dirt.
Or paint.
Or paint. So I think it always goes back to where we've been, right? I think going back to, so I'm listening to this book called The Gain and the Gap. And so when people live in the gap, it's when they're unhappy, because it's like you set yourself a goal and you're like, I want to be a millionaire in 5 years. And if in 5 years you're not a millionaire, then you're very disappointed. But I think for us, we practice gratitude a lot, right? So going back to where we used to be and where we're at now and how much we've gained in knowledge, in time, flexibility of time, and then just like finding our passion and purpose within real estate. What do you think?
I agree. Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to that. I think you summed it up really well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Like, yay, I'm doing a good job.
What else? Let's see. What's one of the hardest lessons you've had to learn since we started this journey?
I'll let you answer that one.
I think giving grace to our contractors.
Yes.
Because we're obviously like on a time crunch, right? We want to get our flips done between 3 to 6 months. But then like they come in with their families and then, you know, they're like, we're seeing them and their dynamic, and we realize that they also are a family owned business, right? And they're trying to juggle it all. And it's like, dang, like that really puts it into perspective, and it just allows for us to give them more grace and
I agree
and come
with
from
you.
Understanding.
And I think that's something that we talked about, because I was like, I asked them if they could finish it in 6 weeks.
They were like, were you there when I told them?
I'm
and
like,
they agreed.
Yes. I'm like, do we need to get this notarized?
Yeah, we need to record them.
We need to record them, right? So I think to us, it's like we have a timeline in mind, right? If everything goes perfect, like we want to have them done in, you said 3 to 6 months, but I think you meant 6 weeks.
That's me giving grace.
Oh, okay. So, you know, we want to flip them as fast as possible. And so talking to these contractors and asking them like, hey, can you do it? And then, yeah, we got you. Like, we got this.
Yeah.
And then it's like week 12 and we're like,
yes, yeah.
I'm like, we missed the summer market. We missed the spring market.
We did.
You know,
yes.
so, and I think that's super important. Like the market that it's at, like the spring market, summer market, fall market, and winter market are completely different. Like right now, houses are flying off, and then you know, like August comes around and everything starts slowing down because school starts, people are settled in, and so timeline is important. But yes, grace is also important.
Yes.
I got you on the next question.
Okay.
So what would you tell another couple thinking of starting a business together?
Figure out your strengths and your weaknesses first, and then build upon that and divvy everything up after that.
I agree with you. I think we do a very good job with that, because I'm like, I am not good at paperwork, or I'm not good at the design aspect of it.
Yeah. And I'm not good at negotiating, so that's where you come in, because you're like a master negotiator.
I'm like, I try to be.
You are. Yes,
yeah,
you are.
I'm like, okay, I'll take it. But I agree with you. Like, you know, leverage each other and still give grace to each other, because sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we get tired. We miss something, and so that's what the other one is there for.
I agree. And I think there's a misconception with like partnerships, either in like your personal relationship or business, that, you know, it should be 50-50. But there's times where you give 80 and I give 20, or or vice versa. You know what I mean? So it's about understanding that, and not just living off of the fact that it should be 50-50. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think it's 100, right?
Yeah.
But obviously we're humans. We're gonna fall short sometimes. Like, there's times where I don't want to get out of the house, or I don't want to do something, or vice versa. You know, there's days where I'm like, you haven't left the house in 7 days,
and I'm okay with that.
And
I love our home. It's our sanctuary.
I know. And so I agree with you. It's like we need to give in 100% of ourselves.
But then also know that there are days when you're going to give, you know, that 80%, I'll give that 20%, or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just about getting to that, working towards that common goal. And also, like, if there is a problem that you know, within the flip or whatever is going on within business, like, it's you two versus that problem.
Yeah.
Instead of
against each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can we talk about recovery? Like, how important rest and recovery is?
Yes.
It just made me think of how sometimes we're so overworked and we fall short in some area. Not fall short, because we need to rest, right? We're humans. But I just learned that I need to recover and rest.
Yeah, because that's how you get deals. You attract.
Yes, that's right. And so it's something that it comes so easy to you to give yourself grace. But to me, it's like, if I'm not going and going and going, I'm not producing, which is the complete opposite. It's like, you need to rest to produce.
Exactly. I feel like it's something that was maybe previously taught to you, that you had to earn your rest.
Yes. And it's like, I have not earned it.
Yeah. And it's the opposite. Like, you rest, and then you have the time or the energy to produce and go live out your life.
Yeah, I agree. And at the beginning of this year, we said that this year was a great slowdown.
And it is.
For us.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that we're producing less, doing less. It actually means we're doing more, but we're also recovering more, so we can keep going and have that energy.
Yeah.
Right? I like it. Okay. So, let's see. Can you share a mindset shift that really changed things for you in how we work or grow?
I think just going back to imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Just like really believing in yourself. Yeah. If like you have to, there's times where you have to believe in yourself so much that you have to completely block out the outside noise.
Yeah.
Like, even with each other too, like, I had to believe so much in you and your vision even before I saw it.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me was when I changed my relationship with money.
Yes.
Right?
That also.
Because now I'm not controlled by money. It's a resource, right? And before, when you're working that 9 to 5, you don't see your bank account going up. And now it's like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like I know that there's always money.
Yeah.
It's like I'm tapped into that frequency of money, that I'm like, money will come, and I don't depend, like, my life is not fully dependent on it.
Right.
You know?
It's just, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a tool. It's a resource.
It's a tool. Yeah, it is a resource. And sometimes we go days without spending money. And before it was like, dang, I don't have money to spend today, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just so different now.
I agree. I also feel like we're getting smarter with our money. Like, we got an espresso machine.
Yes.
You know? And we started making coffee at home and just like eating at home more.
Yeah.
Just because it's like more nutritious, and also because it saves money, time, all of the above.
I agree with you. Yeah. So if you had to dream out loud, where do you see BX Home Solutions in the next 3 to 5 years?
Ooh, I'll let you answer that, visionary.
I'm like, should I say it or not? So
You should give just a little sneak peek.
Okay, so I think I see us building a few homes.
Okay.
So 2025, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And then I think that moving forward, we're obviously not going to stop flipping. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to be more picky with our flips. Mm-hmm. But I definitely see us getting into building.
Yeah. I love how, like, flipping has been just like a stepping stone into our growth and what's coming next. So that's like really exciting.
I agree.
We're always looking to grow. Like, we're looking to be better than the prior year, even 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? If building doesn't work out, so what?
Yeah.
We tried it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that knowing that, ahead of time, like, hey, if this doesn't work out, it's okay. Mm-hmm. We can just keep moving forward with whatever is next.
I think that's another thing. I feel like when people try new things, they feel like they have to tie themselves down to that specific thing for like years to come or whatever that looks like. And you could just try it out. If you're not good at it or you don't like it, just move on to the next.
Yeah, you just keep moving on.
Yeah, this life is it's short and long at the same time, but it's long enough for you to be able to experience many things if you want to.
I agree. As long as you have health, I think that's all we need.
I agree. And the last question is, how do you see us weaving in more affordable housing and wellness into our future work?
So I think this is something that we've talked about a lot this year, affordable housing, right? Mm-hmm. And to me, I don't know how this passion came about, but I just started thinking about how housing is so unaffordable nowadays. Mm-hmm. And then I also think of how as a community, or maybe it's just me tying this to that, but I feel like affordable housing is only for low income people.
Yeah.
How do you see it?
I feel like that's how society views it.
Right. And to me, it's like, I want to get into affordable housing for everybody.
Right.
I don't care how much you get paid a year. You deserve affordable housing. You deserve to work hard for your money and be able to save or invest, right? Mm-hmm. We like investing. Or invest the rest of your money. But I feel like we all deserve affordable housing. So
I agree.
Once we tap into that, because I know we will, there's more to come on that, but once we tap into affordable housing, I want to open it up to everyone. I don't just want it I don't want to just do low income. Right. I feel like it should be just fair across the board.
I 100% agree.
I'll let you answer the second part.
Ooh, what was the second?
Our wellness.
What about our wellness? Sorry, I closed mine up.
So how do you see our future in wellness?
Our future and wellness. I think just taking care of ourselves more.
Yeah, so we can keep going.
Yeah.
Keep living our dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for setting it up, because it was all you. And I think you're a good listener. You listen to some of our fans, some of our friends, some of our friends that had been asking, or people that we've been networking with, and they've just been asking about how we came about. Yeah. And so there's so many more stories. There are, yes. And I think, I'll say it here, but I'm going to start a newsletter. So it's a newsletter mainly about investing, but there's also going to be stories about what we go through. Yes. And it's going to be, we're not gatekeeping anything. We're sharing everything, even how we got started, how you can get started, and also different types of funding, because people think there's only traditional, and there's so many more types of funding. So
you're really good at creative financing. It's so cool to watch.
I feel like it's gonna be really, really, really good one day. But
I'm excited for you.
Yes, well, thank you for this.
Yes, well, thank you for being here. I always appreciate your presence. You're like my favorite person in the world. So likewise. This was so much fun. Thank you.
It was, and people can just reach out to us, and we're gonna leave our information on this.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have for today. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.